screen up a little bit. Where am I? Bear with me. That'll do it. There we go. Oh. There we go. How are we all? Welcome to back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. Hey sis, how are we doing? It is a live, so if you see me talking to people, I'm not crazy. If you're watching tomorrow. Sorry sis, this seems really dark actually. Hi Kelly, how you doing? How are you? Let me just try and brighten this up a little bit. It seems really dark. Sorry people, bear with me just 1 second. It's really, oh, that'll do. Is that any good? Let's try that. Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, how are we all? How are we out there? Are we okay? Have we heard of this one? Hey, Hayley. How are we doing? Do you know what? Guess what? Right. I done read the last story. I had a lot of new subscribers, so thank you all so much. Hi, Claire. How are you feel? How are you doing? Happy Jess Rose Day. How are we all? Yeah, I got told off in one of my comments last week for obviously after it had been uploaded to YouTube for rambling too much. I should have got a move on apparently. So what can I do? But it's alive. I wanna chat to you all. So what can I say? I like to say hello. How's your week been? How's everyone's week been? Are we all okay? I've got a lot of fringe going on today. Okay, there's a lot of this going on today. I'm not too sure what's happened here. I'm doing a bit of a Justin Bieber go back to the early 2000s kind of look. But hi Natalie, how are we doing? Yeah, have any of you heard of this one? I'm hoping I've got one that you haven't heard of tonight or know much about, because it's awful. Ah, thank you, sis. That's lovely. Yeah, I am taking no notice. I was just like, oh, I do ramble. I know I do, but what can I do? I like to have a chat and stuff. And I did say once I start the story, I don't, try and get distracted. But when I'm saying hi and stuff, like I say, if you are watching tomorrow, probably you can fast forward a little bit if you like. But it's Jess Rose Day, so yeah, it's the horrific torture of John Hron. Has anyone heard of it? No, because I hadn't. I didn't know about this one. Ugh, right, okay, here we go with the trigger warning again. It's a young teenager, but it's also committed by teenagers, so it's kids. Hi Ariane, how we doing? Oh, thanks, Phil. Yeah, it's kids on kids. Oh, it's just awful. But as soon as you haven't heard of it, I'm going to tell you all about it now. Do you know, can you bear with me? I chose a light that I really like. I don't filter like this, but I do like to filter around me. And I've found a perfect one the past few times. No. Sorry. No, that's not what I'm looking for. No. Is it that one? Sorry, I'm shaking the screen, everything else. That still looks really dull to me. I'm sorry about this, everyone. I never remember which one it is that's quite nice and bright. It's not that. Is it that one? No. Oh, no, sorry. What should we try this one? Oh, look, really washed out. I'm ever so sorry, everyone. Please bear with me. Oh, thank you, Claire. Right, we're going to try Glamour. Should we try Glamour? There we go. We're on Glamour. It looks really... Tell me if that looks horrific. So, yeah, here we are again. I'm going to ruin your Thursday evening. Woohoo, Jess Rose Day. Oh, thank you. No, we have Justin Bieber in the building this evening, so I hope you appreciate it. I just washed it, so this is what's going on. Got this going on now. Right, okay. So we're going to begin. I have let you all know. It's, yeah, it's a bit of a, it's not, I'm not going to react the way I did last week. I think, honestly, last week, I can honestly, hand on my heart say, was the worst story I've had to do. It genuinely was. It was just awful. All of them are, I say it all the time. But last week's one, oh my God, if you haven't seen it, it was the murder of baby Brianna Lopez. But, oh, awful. It took me a little while to get over that. But, okay, let's go. This is the horrific torture of John Hron. Okay. Okay. It is Swedish. So there's a couple of words that I'm going to struggle with. So I'm just going to try and I've had practice, but as we know, I never do I? I mean, people have been having a go at me. I'm sorry, I am starting. I just got sidetracked by that then. Yes, having a go at me is telling me I ramble too much. Oh, and I've just rambled again. Okay, all right. Focus. Right. Focus. Okay, let's go. Oh, it's only because it's so awful. I'm trying to avoid it. Right. Okay, John Hron. Okay, he was born on the 25th of January 1981 in a place called Kungälv in Sweden. I think I got that right. Okay, his parents are Marie Louise, that's his mom, and Antonin, which is his dad, Hron, obviously. Now this lad, we're going to come up to date. He will be 14 at the time we're going to talk about, but just gorgeous boy. Oh, just, is it bad to say he was really pretty? Like a really perfect, just gorgeous looking boy. So we are going back to July 1995. Okay. And he won a bronze medal in the National Canoeing Youth Championships. He was really sporty, very popular. Looks like a really cute looking lad. Got on with most people. But where we went to school, John, there was a lad that was, I think was in his year. He was 15. John was 14. He was 15. So I don't know if the birthday just hadn't passed or they were in this. He was a year above. But there was a lad called Michael in John's school, and Michael's what we all call a bully, right? Now, not only was he a bully, but Michael was also part of. There was like a new fraction of neo-Nazis that came about in Sweden back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and they gained momentum. So at this point in 95, it was quite a big movement. And when I say, like, it wasn't just, oh, you don't agree with something, so you're an actor. These were shaved heads. I don't know if you've ever watched This Is England. It was the whole checkered shirts, the bit long jackets, the Doc Martin boots. It were, they dressed the part and they were just vile. And this Michael was, he was part of that group, a part of a group of them, should I say. Now, Michael, he's quite proud of the fact where he says, I must have scared every last one in that school. Cocky little bugger. But, okay. But what it was with John, he didn't put up with this from Michael. He wasn't scared of Michael. He didn't put up with it. In fact, when he'd see Michael bullying people, John would step in. He didn't look like it. You look at the picture of him and he just looks so sweet, but apparently he was quite feisty and he wouldn't put up with things like that from people. He hated bullies. So he just seemed like an all-round, really positive, nice boy, John did. Yeah. So, and he'd been on local and national news for his sports. Like I say, he just a month before where we're gonna come up to, he'd won the bronze medal in the National Canoeing Youth Championships. You know, he had such a future ahead of him, this boy did. Okay. So we're gonna come up to the 17th of August 1995. I wish I could just end it there. It's not that channel. It's not that kind of channel. So, okay. So, John had a friend called Christian. And on the 17th of August, 95, John and Christian met up and they were going camping. Okay. Bear with me on the pronunciation. But they went camping in at Lake Ingeterpestion. I think that's it. Near Code, the place is called. So they'd set their tent up and they'd set a fire up and, you know, just camping. It was something they did quite often. It was no weird thing about it. I think the parents were going to pick them up the next day. They were staying overnight. It was just something they did. But, talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Michael, remember Mr. Bully Boy? Well, Michael had some friends, them royal people I was telling you about. And Michael happened to also be at the campground on the 17th of August 95. And from what I can make out from the descriptions I've heard and what I've looked at, seems that John and Christian were on one side and Michael and three of his friends were over the other side. I do it like this because I just don't think it's a friendship founded like, you know, just what's organically. I think it was through a hatred of people that they found each other, this group over here. So you've got John and Christian minding their business, just having fun, relaxing. Over this side of the campground, you've got Michael. He's 15, like I say. He's got a friend called Daniel, who's 18. Very, very violent man. But I'm not even going to say boy, he's 18. He's a man. Really violent. Had knocked girlfriends about in the past by then. He'd beaten people up. Just not a nice lad at all. We then had another John. Sorry, it's a different, obviously, John. He's 17. And then there's a lad, another 18-year-old lad, but we're only given his initials and it's BM. I'm not too sure why. He's a grown adult. I'm not too sure why it's just those initials, but that's what they are. So these four are over one side of the campground. John and Christian are over this side of the campground. Well, like I say, John had made a fire. So when the flames got high enough, they were noticed by the group on this side of the campground. And seeing as Michael was the youngest, they sent him to go and have a look and scout out who's over that side. Well, of course, he recognised John from school and obviously hates him. Hates John because John stands up to him. So he goes back to his group and he says, come on, let's go and mess about with them. So they do. So they walk over to John and Christian, these four lads do. And it was said that Michael had been bullying John, not bullying John, but trying to bully John for the past year. And he'd even threatened to kill him. This was during school and stuff. So, you know, he saw it. This is great now. I've got my pals with me. So they head over to join John and Christian. Oh, it's just horrible. And they, like I say, they were just having a really good time, just chilling and everything else. And then these four descend on them. And John stands up And as he stands up, Daniel, the eldest of the four, fires a beer can at John's head, like an unopened beer can, fires it on him. And they all start laughing or find it very funny. Christian, obviously John's friend, is mortified. He goes to help, and next thing you know, I don't know if it was BM or the other John, who were with the other four, got him by knife point and just made him stand out the way. So if you're wondering during everything, I'm telling you, well, what was Christian doing? He really couldn't do anything. He was at the same age as John. You know, what could he do? Okay. So then he'd fired this beer can at his face, and as John tried to fight back, they all started laying in on John. He's 14. Remember that. He's 14 years of age. And what they do, they all start punching him and kicking him, and they want him to say that he loves Nazis. That's what they want out of him. That's the kick out of him that they want. And he won't do it. He won't do it. He refuses. He refused outright to do it. So they keep going at him. They keep beating him. And then all of a sudden they stop and they pick him up off the floor because they're beaten to the floor. So they pick him up off the floor. And they're like, we're just messing. It's okay. You know, sorry about that. Come on, come and have a beer. And he thinks for a second that it's over, which I suppose you would. Well, you'd just hope, wouldn't you? You'd just hope it'd be over. But no, it was just a game to them. It was just a game to them. And no sooner had he started to relax and think it's done, no. I think it was Michael came up behind him and punched him in the back of the head. Okay. So then with the other three, they beat him to the floor. They kick him in the head, like his head to football. They're still throwing beer cans down onto his face. These beer cans are unopened, so you can imagine how heavy that is. And it was said that they laughed because his eyes were so wide with fear that they found that very funny, that he was scared of them. They found that really funny. Okay. And then they'd stop again. And they'd be like, come on, we're just playing with you. Come on, stand up. It's over now. And he'd struggle to get up and he'd stand up. And like I say, if you see the picture of him, he looks quite a slight lad. 14. But he managed to stand up. And then I think it was Daniel. It was said the main two culprits of this were Michael and Daniel, the 15-year-old who John knew from school, and the 18-year-old. They were the main culprits, although the other two did, get involved as well, but not as much as those two. And when he got up, he turned his back for a second, and I think it was Michael. It might have been Daniel. Got all their stuff, Christian and John's stuff, put it all in a pile and threw it onto the fire. So their tent, all their bags, everything, just threw it onto the fire and burnt it. Okay. So John and Christian were probably thinking, right, okay, I've had a hiding, they've burnt all the stuff, they're going to leave now, they're going to leave us alone. No. Next thing you know, one of them have grabbed a plank of wood out of the fire and slapped it on the back of his neck, obviously burning all his neck and knocking him to the floor again. When I say this went on for hours, it was hours and hours of this constant That's why it's been said it was a torture, because it was so sadistic that it wasn't just beating him, it was making him think it was over and then going again. They had no intention of leaving him. It was just this, it was called a cat and mouse game. It was just called, it was a cat and mouse game. Yeah. So, but he did try to fight back. But after a while, he just couldn't fight back. He's got 4 people on him. His friend can't help him. What could he do? What really could he do? And I just think of that Michael, the coward, absolute coward. Couldn't fight him on his own. Never won on his own, but had to do it with it gang-handed. Just during this time, they jump kicked him. They were kicking him in the back of the head. They were stomping on his stomach. You know, this wasn't just fighting, this is torture. This was just beating him. But during this time, John and Christian were just begging. They were begging them, please let us go home. Please, can we just go home? I just thought, oh God, it's just heartbreaking. And they just carried on laughing. They just laughed at them. They just found it they found the whole thing really amusing, really, really funny, that they're just beating this lad to an inch of his life. And then they'd stop again and they started again. And this time it had got to the point where John couldn't even stand up anymore. You know, up until then he'd been able to crawl himself to his feet and, you know, try and take a breath before they carried on again. But this time now he couldn't even stand up anymore. Like I say, this was after hours of this. And then they pushed him into the lake, where they were camping. It was around the lake. I think I said that. And they pushed him into the lake. Well, John, like I say, was a real sportsman, and he just won that bronze in the canoeing. He was a very, very, very strong swimmer. And I don't know if they caught on to that or they were just thinking ahead. But Michael and Daniel sent the other John and that BM round to the other side of the lake to try and stop him if he got across. Because as soon as they threw him in the lake, he started swimming. He started swimming for his life to get away from these. And he would have beat them. He would have beat them to the other side because he was really athletic. And like I say, he could swim like a fish. You know, once he was in that water, he was gone. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. What they did, what Daniel and Michael did, remember I said they had Christian by knife point. They, they literally started screaming at John, come back or we're going to kill your friend. And he was still swimming. He was still trying to get away. But then they got Christian to scream out, please, please, John, come back. They're going to kill me. And it was just, oh. And in my head, I'm thinking, if you'd have just carried on swimming and got to that other side, you could have run, you could have got help. But he didn't. He just, remember I said he would stand up to bullies. He would defend people who were being bullied. And I suppose hearing his friends scream, he just couldn't do it. And he turned around and he swam back. He swam back to them. So once he swam back, and he got to, you know, to the edge of the water, they dragged him back out of the water. And they just started beating him again. They literally just started beating him again. Oh, and he came back. It's just like, he got away. It's like, and what they did, they lay him down on the floor in a position where they could kick his head like a football back and forward and stomping on his head and stomping on his stomach. And it said they had steel toe cap boots on. That's what they had on. And they just wouldn't stop. Once they got him out of the water, they just didn't stop then. That was it. They were out for blood then. And he was eventually beaten unconscious. This poor 14-year-old lad. By a 15-year-old lad and an 18-year-old lad. You know, just utter monsters. And then once he was unconscious, it was said that even while he was unconscious, that didn't actually matter to them. They carried on. This final beating went on for 7 minutes. And he was unconscious for a lot of it. And they just didn't stop. Even while he was out of it, he was gone. He was unconscious. And they just carried on, kicking him in his head, stomping on his head, jumping on his stomach. They just didn't stop. And then when they were done, like I say, he was unconscious. He was still alive, but he was unconscious. So they rolled him back into the water, into the lake. And of course, he's unconscious. So he just sank to the bottom. And John Hron died there and then. He drowned because he wasn't awake to save himself. Just monsters, absolute monsters. When I heard about this, and just knowing he got away though. He actually, just awful. So what they did once they threw him into the water and they'd seen him sink, they watched that happen. They watched him sink to the bottom. They called the other two back round. Remember I said they'd gone to the other side of the lake just in case he'd managed to swim across, which he would have, and he would have beat them. They started bragging. They started bragging to the other two when they came back, saying, oh, you know, we've beat him, and you should have seen him. He sank like a stone. So it's not like they didn't realise. It's not like they didn't realise what they'd done or the results of what they'd done or the outcome. I know teenagers, they're spontaneous and they don't think of consequences and stuff, but they knew, they watched it happen. They knew what had happened to him. And they were just laughing. They just found it so funny. Christian stood there devastated that he couldn't help, that he couldn't do anything. And they just left him. They just left Christian and off they went. Look, they came over, they went, laughing and joking and thinking this was just a great night, just for kicks. There was no reason. There was no reason for it other than that Michael and John had a run-in at school. That was it. That was why. That was why you did that. What, because he got the better of you at school? So you did that. Okay. So poor Christian, he had to hitchhike home. Because like I say, their parents weren't supposed to pick them up till the morning. This had gone into the early hours. This had gone on for hours upon hours upon hours. They done this for. So Christian makes his way to a road and hitchhikes back to his house. Ran straight in, woke his parents up, told them what had happened, told them who had done it. His parents phoned the police or took him to the police station. I think they took him straight to the police station, and straight away he gave the 4 names of the lads that were there. He told them where John was in the lake, and he took them to the lake and showed them where John around about would be. Yeah, and the autopsy said that even if John hadn't have drowned, even if they hadn't have pushed him into the water or rolled him into the water, he wouldn't have survived. He wouldn't have survived that beating anyway. So, yeah. Well, it said it was unlikely he would have survived due to the amount of damage to his head and body. When his parents went to see him to identify him, he was unrecognisable. The pathologist, is it pathologist? Basically said he hadn't come across injuries like that to a child or an adult that weren't part of a car crash, you know, or an accident of some sort like that in his 28 years. He'd never seen injuries like this from anything other than a car crash. Yeah, he had bleeding on the brain. He had internal bleeding. They broke his teeth. They didn't break his teeth. And the reason you'll see why I said that, if you look at the photos of him, he's just got this perfect set of just even white teeth, and it's just horrible to think just the damage they did to him. They pulled all 4 lads in, and Daniel, obviously the eldest one, who 18, he admitted to what he did roundabout, but he kind of kept himself away from the final act. He kind of tried to say that wasn't him. He'd taken part in beating him, but he hadn't taken part in the final act. Being 18, he'd have known what to expect, you know, being an adult, being found guilty of murder. Or you would think, oh, you're going to be so annoyed. You're going to be so annoyed by the time I finish this story. Honestly, you will. And Michael said in his interview, now Michael said everything. He sang, is it sang like a canary? He said everything they did from beginning to end. That's why we know so many details of what had happened between him and Christian. Oh, just everything. And he actually said that when they were kicking his head, remember the 7 minutes I told you about, he said the reason they didn't stop even when he was unconscious is it felt so good that we couldn't stop. This lad, 15 years old. The one I'm talking about, Michael, he's 15. And he's saying it felt so good we couldn't stop. Just vile human beings. Really, just rotten to the core. No, what's the word? No remorse, nothing. Couldn't care less. Literally couldn't care less. So we come up to their trial. This is what I'm saying. You're going to be sick of that. Now, we know how I feel about the American justice system, and I'm very much, you know, when it comes up with crimes like this, I'm very much, yay, when it's a death sentence or it's 75 years or something, you know, but when it comes to the UK justice system, we know I've got a problem with that. I genuinely have, with the sentences that are given out. Wait until you hear about Sweden's. Are you ready? So the trial began on the 22nd of September 1995. Okay. And it went on to the 2nd of October 95. Now, Daniel, his surname, so Daniel Hansen, who's 18, and Michael, oh, I'm going to give it a go, Michael Vajalholm, I think that's right, who's 15, the main two. Are you ready? They were found guilty of murder. Sorry, completely sidetracked. Do you want to know what they got? Are you ready? Okay. So Daniel got 8 years for murder. They were found guilty. He got 8 years. Michael, oh, it's getting worse. Stay around. It's going to get worse. Michael, who I know is only 15, I get that. Do you want to know what he got? 5 years. He got 5 years. And John Billing and the lad we will know as BM, I don't know why. Well, John Billing, who was 17, he got 10 months for aggravated assault. And BM, who was 18, he got 4 months for aggravated assault because they'd gone round the other side of the camp. So they'd been there and been very involved in the beating of him. They just weren't there for the last part. But they were there for the hours beforehand. And they got 10 more months and 4 months. Aggravated assault, that's all they've done them for. And like I say, the one who got the most was 8 years. That was it. And he didn't even do the 8. He was 8 in 2001. The trial wasn't until 90. He done 6 years. He done 6 years. That was it. That done. I was so confused, and I kept on looking at different sources, and I thought, I've got something wrong here. I've 100% got something wrong. And then I seen the 10 months and the 4 months, and I'd misread it. I thought he said 10 years and 4 years, and I was like, why would them two have got more than the main two? I don't understand. No, 10 months and 4 months, not 10 years, months. I just heard about the torture and the murder of this gorgeous lad who'd only ever wanted to do good things. And that was the end that I came up to. And I was like, I've got to be joking. I need to go and have a look at more sources. I've got to have this wrong. But no, that's what they got. Okay. But while he was in prison, you might be happy to know, Michael, he was stabbed in the eye with a screwdriver. Okay, I don't know why I'm pointing at that. I don't know which one it was, but he was stabbed in the eye. The real ironic part of this, he was stabbed in the eye by another neo-Nazi from in the prison. And I was like, I wonder why. Was it because it was a child he killed, but they were around the same age? You know, why? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why he got stabbed in the eye with a screwdriver? Because he'd spoken to the police about what he'd done. I thought there was honour amongst, I know the saying is honour amongst thieves, but I thought there was honour amongst these kind of groups, honouring in some sort of way with kids and women. And oh no, that's why he got stabbed in the eye. Daniel has since returned to prison a couple of times for abusing and beating his girlfriend and beating up someone else. And yeah, he's been in and out. But to be honest, recently I can't find anything on any of them. None of the 4. I can't find anything about them. Didn't find anything out about the other 2, which was John Billing and BM. I don't know. Did they turn over a new leaf? I don't know. If you can't turn over a new leaf though, can you? How would you live with yourself after doing that to someone? Let's just say that you did move on with your life and you did try to do better. I think that would affect you more. Because if you've still got the mind frame that of just being a vile, rotten human being, you're not going to feel bad. But I feel if you try and move on with your life and you try and do better with your life, I imagine that would cause some real sleepless nights. And good. I hope it does. But yeah, I haven't been able to find out anything further on the 4 of them after that. But what I will say is there was absolute uproar over this case in Sweden. Not just that it was a young lad that had been tortured, the way he had been and his murder. It was the fact that it was the neo-Nazis that had done it. And it was a big problem they were having within the country at that time. And it just brought everyone out. It was crazy. I've seen the footage of it, you know, all in support of his dad, John's dad. And yeah, just they went crazy over this. And the judge actually, for some reason, I don't know why, but he actually put like a blanket over the journalists at the time, just saying they couldn't talk about it. So there was uproar over that. They were like, why are you hiding? Why are you protecting these people? So yeah, it was it was really, really bad at the time. And okay, a wave of anti-racist manifestations took place to honour John afterwards. And in 1996, John posthumously, I butcher these words, honestly. If it's not a bog standard 5-letter word, I'm terrible. But it's, yeah, John posthumously received the inaugural Stig Dagerman Prize for Free Speech and World Peace. Which was, but what's really, really sad, and I can't believe the gall of people and the just the cold-heartedness. But his grave, John's grave, has been desecrated several times over the years, not just once after it happened, maybe from from part of the group who felt slighted that 4 of their own had been, locked up for such a short amount of time anyway. But it was over several years that this was happening, and several times it happened. Who destroys a child's grave? He's a child, 14 years old. That really got my back up. It really got my back. Lad can't lie in peace. It's crazy to me. Now, what I will tell you, John's parents, let me just see if I can pronounce the name. So Marie Louise and Antonin, they, because he was so damaged by what they'd done to him, that, like I say, he was unrecognisable to his parents, but his parents wanted the photos put out into the public arena to show what these people have done, to show the evils of people out there. So what I will say, I have seen the photos. I wouldn't recommend, much like the story last week, I wouldn't recommend going and trying to find them. If you just put in his name, you will just see him. You'll see a photo of him. And, honestly, if you want to go and have a look, gorgeous looking boy. Very, very pretty, I would say. Just really cute. But if you go further, you will find photos after he's passed, and they're awful. So would I recommend looking at them? No, I wouldn't. But his family wanted them out there. It's not that they've been leaked by anyone else. His family wanted them out there. So, yeah, they are online. So, yes, also, Michael, again, it's something I've seen, although his face has been blurred out. Michael, the 15-year-old, the main bully, he was taken out by the police to the campground to do a reenactment of what they'd done to John. And you can see, and he's kind of doing the reenactment on, I presume it's a policeman, and Michael's face is blurred out, but you see him like doing this reenactment of what they did, right up to showing this is how we pushed him into the lake. It was just bizarre to me. So that's out there too, which is crazy. Now, finally, there has been a film made, and it's just simply called John Hron. So it's John and Hron. Now I've seen bits, but it's in Swedish. I haven't found the subtitles at all to how I can actually watch it. But they did make a film about this story as well. Like I said, I haven't seen it purely because I couldn't find any with English subtitles, so I wouldn't have been able to watch it solely on just watching the graphics of it. Did want to hear, but what it did show in the film that when I heard of neo-Nazis, and I don't know how everyone feels out there, but you know, we hear that word a lot, especially now in the climate we're in now at the moment. So when I heard that, I thought, right, okay, I don't know. I think it's been thrown around so much in the past couple of years. I think people have become desensitized to what that actually means. And when I watched the trailer to the film and a bit of it, just obviously without knowing what they're saying, I can't understand Swedish. These were the skinheads. They were just vile people. Vile. They wanted to start the Aryan race group, which is an American neo-Nazi group, and they were trying to bring that to Sweden. It wasn't part of that group, but it was more based on the American group. And just rotten human beings, just vile. And I think it just spoke to John's kindness and his amazing personality that he had, that he would protect bullies. And I feel for his friend Christian. You know, I haven't been able to find out how he got on, you know, in later life. I don't know about him either. I hope he was okay. He was only 15 himself, 14. And what could he have done? What could he have done? I just keep going back to the fact that he got away. He got away. And he came back. And part of me was like, just keep going. You can get help for your friend. They'll panic, they'll run. But it was just the person he was to go back and help his friend. And he paid for it with his life. Just such a sad, unknown story that I'd never heard of before. And I just thought it was just a horrible. I think there's so many points to it. You know, the fact that he had such a bright future ahead of him. The fact that he went back for his friend, and then the sentences they got. I get so frustrated at our own, but my God, I weren't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that to be the sentences, and I thought I've got to share this. I've got to share this on Thursday because I was just mortified. Absolutely. 4 months, one of them got 4 months for being involved in the murder of a child. But okay, but I haven't heard any more about the two that got 10 and 4 months. And like I say, Daniel didn't change, and Michael now can't stay out one eye. Boo. Boo-hoo. Oh, sorry, but I can't help it. I have no sympathy. But, okay. It's a horrific torture of John Hron. Oh, I've ruined your Thursday night again, haven't I? I've done it again. But had anyone heard of that one? Or was it new to you all? Because it's certainly new to me. Yeah, and I wouldn't... Oh, thank you, Hayley. Thanks, Tiff. Oh, sorry, Phil. Yes, obviously. Yeah, oh, God, I'm trying to bring the comments up. No justice claimer. Yes, Ariane. Awful. They were pathetic sentences. Just absolutely awful. Thank you all, though. But yeah, just disgusting. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you all. Yeah, I just I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss on this one. I genuinely am. Normally I just, yes, you are a charming gentleman, Phil, you are. Thank you for ordering it. Oh, look at you, my little admin. There she is, tapping away. Yeah, I just feel really, after doing these stories, they always leave you feeling a bit blech. But when you know that no justice was done at all, I don't count that as justice at all, it's just even more frustrating. It just leaves me really like annoyed and angry and just sickened by it. Just I mean, his dad, he keeps all his photos and all his trophies and all his medals. You see his dad, he never got over it. He keeps all the newspaper clippings of what happened, and his dad never got over it. I don't know about his mum. I didn't see his mum mentioned. I don't know if they broke up or she passed. I'm not too sure. The only comments I've seen, or the reports I've seen, and the footage I've seen was of his dad. So I'm not too sure. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Ariane. But he will okay. Just pants on it. Just pants. Just awful. But yes, I wanted to share that with you. I've had a couple of people ask me, right, okay, this is what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking before we do the jingle. I'm considering doing 2 lives a week if you're around. Remember I said before Christmas it might be something I'll be looking at doing after Christmas. Now I know I take a good bit of time on your Thursday night, so I don't know if you's oh yay, okay. I weren't sure if you'd be interested in maybe joining on another night. Well, what? Yes, it's nearly jingle time, Phil. It's nearly time. Look, if you're watching tomorrow, I'm sorry you don't know what I'm doing, but I will explain in a second. I get really red. I get so excited. But yeah, do me a favour. Okay, if you're watching now, any likes, if you could go in after the story's been published, and like, comment and subscribe, please. But also, if you could pop a comment and let me know which would love that, sis. Yay. Let me know which night would be convenient for you. And then what I'll do is I'll go in, I'll have a look at the comments, and we'll go with the most popular night. Only night I can't really do is a Sunday. I go to a quiz on a Sunday. It's not that I do anything amazing. I go to a quiz and I'll lose every week, but it's good fun. So that's what I do on a Sunday. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking of Tuesday. I was thinking Tuesdays and Thursdays had a good ring, but have a think about it. Let me know what night would be suitable for you all, and maybe we'll start doing 2 a week. I better ramp it up. And what I thought is maybe do I'll get sounds good, sis. Yeah, what I could do is on the one live do a requested story, and on the other live do one that I've found, because I do like try and find ones that you might not have heard of. And we could do it that way, because what it is, I'm finding some that I want to share with you, but I'm also getting requests, so I'm like, which one do I do? So once a week's just not enough. So maybe if we do it that way, then I get to do the requests and I get to do ones that I can find for you. But it is jingle time. It's jingle time. If you're watching tomorrow, and you are still with us, this is the time where I do my jingle. And I don't know why I call it a jingle. It's not even a jingle. It jingles a song. Well, it's kind of like a song. It's kind of a jingle. So thank you for joining. And if you could like, comment and subscribe, please. Oh, the tongue's out. The tongue came out then. Oh, that was different. That was different. Yeah, you have to encourage. And Tiffany, you're not going to stop us. We're not going to stop it. But the tongue came out then. That was no. So, oh, it's back out. Like, comment, subscribe, please. Please. I look like mum teeth. Look at me. Look at me. Thumbs. Look, comment, subscribe, please. I've got. It's just too much. It's too much. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Do you know? I know it drives her crazy as well. I know it drives her crazy. So yes, if you are watching tomorrow, that's my jingle. Just let you know. Oh, was she on? Oh, I didn't see her. Was she on? Was it a flying visit? Oh, at least she popped in. I'm happy about that. But yeah, I did look like mum then, didn't I? Like, comment, subscribe, please. But yes, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it again. Pop a comment in. Let me know what night's good for you. Maybe Tuesdays. I'll put that to you and let me know if that's good for you. And maybe we can start that from next week. See? And then we get to do the jingle twice a week then. Okay. That was, I've got to, I get myself really hot. I'm really hot. Okay. Right. So have a fantastic weekend. And thank you so much for joining me again. And I will, yeah, thank you all again. And I'll see you all. I'm early tonight. I know. I feel like I'm early. How can you slag your sister? Oh, Phil, she slags me off all the time. She does it all the time. She really does. She does. It's just because she's jealous of the jingle. That's what it is. She's jealous of the jingle. Look, I can't stop to. You really see the chin when I do the jingle. Jingle. Like, comment, subscribe, please. So, can't stop me. Right, I'm definitely gonna go. Definitely gonna go. I'm sweating. Right. I will see you all next week. Thank you all so much again. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe, please. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, it's over there today. Oh, what was it over there? There we go. There we go.